And we are live. What's up, everybody? We're going to be here for UFC Beijing. We got the rematch between Francis Ngannou, the GOAT, just kidding, versus Curtis Blaydes. And Kelton, how do you like this card? And I mean, how do you feel about waking up at 6 in the morning?
Dude, I love this card, man. I think for you know, an Asian MMA card, I think I mentioned that on the Fight Game podcast. If you want to see our recap from what? Hold on. Oh, 1 sec. I'm getting some feedback. Sorry about that. Okay, so yeah, this card's really good, man. It's loaded with a really nice co-main event and main event. Heavyweight wars, and then it's loaded with on the undercard all kinds of Chinese prospects everywhere. Song Yadong, Pingyuan Liu, Yan Zonin. I mean, this card's stacked with prospects, man. I like it a lot. Prospects, fun fights, good co-main event, good main event. I'm ready to talk about it.
Yeah, man. So call the first fight.
So first fight of the night, we got Yaozong minus 450 taking on Kondo plus 360. Man, I hope for my sakes that this is not the first fight of the night. There isn't an official bout order yet, but this is the first fight listed on Wikipedia. But obviously, I'm going to have to be awake for this fight because this is my biggest play of the day. If I have to wake up at 6:15 for it, so be it. But yeah, man, I'm big on Yaozong, and I have her in 2 parlays. I have 7.8 units on her. Basically, the main thing here is, man, you got 2 strikers. They're gonna go in, they're gonna strike, and the fact of the matter is, Yaozong, she hits a lot harder, she throws a lot more, and Kondo, she's only 29 years old, but she's actually been around for a long time. She has an amateur kickboxing career dating back to over a decade. She's been kickboxing since I think 16, 17 years old, and you know she's got the basics down, and she can outstrike girls. I actually bet on Kondo in her UFC debut against Chan Mi Jion. She won a split decision there. It was a little closer than my liking, and that's kind of when I realized Kondo won't be much of a threat in the UFC. And then, obviously, in her last fight, she went out there and got starched by Poliano Botello. And, I mean, I think it might have a lot to say in Poliano Botello's last fight. She's Poliano Botello isn't who we think she is, so I think that loss doesn't age well for Kondo. And then Yaozong on the other side, man. I mean, one of the meanest girls in women's MMA. I mean, this girl throws to kill you every shot. You know, she's got those powerful side kicks. She doesn't really. Those side kicks are really popular in Chinese MMA, and the difference with some fighters just predictably spam them. Yaozong, she times those perfectly. She throws those with a reason, and she accurately places them. She doesn't spam them. There's some guys out there that are just asking to get those kicks caught and for them to get taken down, and we'll talk about that later. But man, I think Yaozong's got her outgunned on the feet all day long, and that's where this fight's going to play out. I don't see really either girl going for a takedown. So yeah, Zandon's going to land the harder shots. She's going to land more shots, and I actually think she's due for a UFC KO. So I think she gets her very first UFC finish in this fight. And if you're a prop better, man, I believe it should still probably be over plus 300. I know it was plus 385 earlier. It's still plus 15, plus 315, man. So if you want a minus 450 at plus 315 odds, I don't hate that prop at all. And man, Yaozong's going to get this done. What do you think of this fight, man? I'm going to go with her by 3rd round TKO.
Yeah, man, I got the favorite here as well. I think she's one of the best strikers in the division. I'm curious, when she fights a grappler, it should be interesting because, Kyle and Kieran took her down a couple of times, but she got right back up. And, I don't know, man, like, when she fights Calvillo, man, like, I feel like it could be the same thing as happened, like, the Calvillo fight, but they got to build her up, I think. I think she's a couple fights away if she fights Calvillo. But anyways, back on Yan, her only loss is in 2010. She has a very good jab, really aggressive, good striking, good volume, good cardio, super aggressive. I just said, but I just don't think Kondo has anything for her. Originally, I thought that Kondo had a wrestling background, but then I saw that it's like pro wrestling or whatever. So I mean, she has no wrestling, dude. I don't think she's gonna make a make a fight of this fight. So I got Yan, dominating this fight. She could get a finish, but it's women's MMA. Who knows? But yeah, I got Yan by a dominant decision. I just think that she's too fast for her, and powerful right hand. Her striking, her all around game is so much better than Kondo. I don't see Kondo getting her down. So next fight we got Weli Zhang versus Jessica Aguilar. This is another, I know you have a strong opinion about this fight as well, but this is another, big girl fight. And I don't know, man. I feel like Jessica Aguilar, she's not that good. She is a tough girl, though. Like, I got to give her props. She has a good chin. She's always going to be there. I mean, I thought the Courtney Casey fight, I thought Courtney Casey was going to beat her ass. And, I mean, you could say Courtney Casey beat her ass, but it was a close fight. I don't know. Like, she took her down multiple times. Courtney Casey did get the win, but I thought Casey would have got a finish, but Aguilar showed a lot of heart. Aguilar beat, Jody last fight. I do think Jessica won. A lot of people said Jody won. I don't think so. But Aguilar's just a grappler. She has no striking. She comes forward. She's aggressive, good chin, but all she wants to do is take you down. Weli, on the other hand, is a striker. Very good striking, trains with Yan, and Weli has a good ground game too. I think it's really hard for her to get Weli down. So I'm going to have to go with Weli and get another decision win, 30-27. What about you?
Yeah, man. I actually don't have really that strong of a feeling in this fight. Obviously, I'm going to go with the big favorite, Weli Zhang, but I don't know. I mean, Jessica Aguilar, props to her for winning her last fight. I thought at this point she was kind of halfway out the game. And, Jody Escobar isn't the best fighter in the world. Weli Zhang has some serious striking, and the shots that Jessica Aguilar was getting off on Jody, she's not going to be able to land on Zhang here. Aguilar's just so stiff on the feet, super predictable. As long as this fight stays on the feet, Weli Zhang is going to tee off on her bad. The question here is, I know she's got an incredible record, 17-1, but she hasn't quite been in there with a super seasoned, gritty, tough vet who can wrestle girls, and I just don't think it's that out of the realm of possibility that Jessica Aguilar can go in here and stay in top control for at least 2 out of 3 rounds. So Zhang's going to be my pick. I think she's probably going to be able to keep it on the feet, keep it where she wants, and probably outpoint Aguilar, maybe even like a 30-26 decision. But I don't know, man. Something tells me Aguilar is she can be sneaky with those takedowns. She's won a lot of her fights with wrestling in the past, and that's her path. And maybe she can go out there and give this girl a vet lesson, give her first UFC loss. It's totally possible, but due to obvious reasons like the age and the declining skills, there's a lot better fighters to take the big underdog shot on than Jessica Aguilar. So I don't like her as much as some of the other big favorites, but I'll go with Weli Zhang via I'll say a 30-26 decision. But we'll see what happens. So moving on to the next fight, man, we got Lauren Mueller, and she's a minus 420 favorite, taking on Yanan Wu plus 335. So Lauren Mueller is one of she is the other half of one of my Yan Xiaonan plays. I have a 5-unit max bet on Lauren Mueller parlayed with Yan Xiaonan. I love Lauren Mueller in this fight, man. I think she has the advantage everywhere. We saw Yanan Wu. She made her debut last time out against Gina Mazany, and Gina Mazany, Gina Mazany is a pretty strong grappler. She was able to go out there and utilize her best tools and outgrind Yanan Wu. And now Yanan Wu's taken on a striker in Lauren Mueller, but Lauren Mueller went out there and landed a couple takedowns in her last fight. I think this is obviously still a very developing prospect, but a prospect with a bright future, in my opinion. A prospect with a way higher ceiling than Yanan Wu. Yanan Wu just, on the feet, she's big for the division. She's 5'9", man, but I feel like she's slow and sloppy on the feet. She's just, I feel like Mueller, her best weapon on the feet, I think she has a really underrated jab, and I feel like Yanan Wu is just going to be there all day for that jab. She's got those real long legs that just stick out, and I feel like Mueller can go out there and utilize 2 big weapons on the feet, which is her jab and leg kicks. And if she can utilize those 2 tools, I think she can actually outstrike the striker here in Yanan Wu. But obviously, I think a smarter approach would be to go out there and wrestle. And Lauren Mueller absolutely can wrestle. She landed 2 takedowns in her UFC debut against Shayna Dobson. It's funny, it was supposed to be Shayna Dobson taking on Yanan Wu here in China, but Shayna Dobson pulled out. I think I would have had Shayna Dobson there as well. So going back to Mueller's last fight against Shayna Dobson, so going into a pre-tape, I was super high on Lauren Mueller, and then watching tape on Shayna Dobson. Shayna Dobson's actually a decent striker with good pop in her hands, and I think Shayna Dobson even, I think this is actually a step down for Lauren Mueller. I think Shayna Dobson was the tougher fight. I think she had more to offer on the feet. I think she actually probably had the better wrestling base to defend takedowns, but Mueller was still able to get her down twice. She was still able to outstrike her. And you mentioned to me before we started the show, I think that shows Lauren Mueller's confidence that she was able to come in here and take this fight on short notice against the home country girl. And I think the big line is definitely warranted, man. I think Lauren Mueller has the advantage everywhere. She can't make this a brawl, though. I think that's the if she goes in there and makes this a brawl, this is going to be a close split decision type fight. That's the way Yanan Wu wins this. But if she goes out there and makes it a pretty striking match, uses the 2 tools that I said, that jab and leg kicks and takedowns, jabs, leg kicks, and takedowns. I think that's the path for Mueller. So I'll go with her via 30-27 decision, maybe even a late TKO or sub.
Yeah, man, I bet Mueller last fight versus Dobson. I like this girl, man. I think she's a good prospect. I think she's going to win a lot of fights in the division. Could potentially be a top 5 girl. And I think she's good, man. I think she is a brawler, though, but I do think that she's going to get takedowns. I think that, one of her best parts of her game is backing her opponents up, and she's really nasty in the clinch, good knees, and, she has good takedowns as well. She in her first fight on the Contender Series, she fought up a weight class in short notice. She took her down. And but I mean, she looked really good. Her striking, she hurt that girl multiple times. I mean, she beat a girl up a weight class and dominated that fight. Last fight with Dobson, she's more technical out there, and she won 2 rounds. Dobson hurt her in the body in the 3rd round, but I mean, she's tough, man. I mean, she just kept on coming, man. And I like her cardio. I think Mueller is better wherever the fight goes. I don't think Wu is that good. She lost to Gina Manzani, and Gina Manzani actually strike with her as well, and she was winning the striking exchanges. Yeah, she took her down too, but I think Mueller can take her down. I think Mueller could beat her on the feet too, to be honest, man. So I like Mueller getting a decision win. I was thinking about honestly playing her in the distance, but I do think she could do it. But I'm going to pass, and I think Mueller's just going to get a 30-27 decision. So next fight we got Smoka versus Sumudaerji. I'm pretty sure I butchered that. So yeah, man. So pre-tape, I was looking in the fake Smolka because I honestly don't think he's that good. I mean, yeah, he's won some big fights. I mean, he beat Ben Nguyen. He has some good wins on his resume. But he just takes so much punishment, man. I mean, he gets hurt every fight. Yeah, I say he's tough. He's a tough guy. But every fight, man, he gets rocked. And I faded him versus Nikolai. Nikolai's a top 10 guy. But this Sumudaerji guy, man, he's been subbed 3 times. He just got subbed 3 weeks ago. And I know Smoka just fought recently too. And Smoka got his got dropped a couple times in the first round, but then he took him down in the second round and got a finish. It's an interesting fight, man, because Sumudaerji is definitely the better striker. He has potential, but I mean, being sub 3 times against a guy that has a very good ground game, that's all Smoka's game. Smoka's a tough, gritty guy that taps you out, man. And a lot of people think that Smoka's not going to be able to take him down. That's Smoka's game. I think Smoka's going to get him in the ground somehow and get a finish, man. So I think Sumudaerji could definitely win the first round. But another thing is, too, a lot of people take down Smoka and that's how Smoka wins. I don't know if Sumudaerji, whatever you say, is going to take him down, per se. But I think Smoka's going to be able to get him down, take him down in the second round, back him up against the clinch, get a trip or something, and take him down. And I think Smoka's going to get a sub. So I got Smoka for the second round guillotine. What about you?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce this gentleman's name. I believe it's Sumudaerji. I'm just going to call him Sumu. But yeah, this is a really interesting stylistic matchup, man. Like pre-tape, I was big on Louis Smolka for sure. You know that. But going back and thinking about it more and watching both these guys like almost entire careers, like I did a lot of research for this fight. Yeah, you pretty much hit the nail on the head. Sumu he's a damn good striker for a 22-year-old kid. Like he's a tall, long dude. He's got real nasty kicks, but like I was alluding to earlier, I think he spams those kicks too much, and he makes them a little bit predictable, and I think that's going to be his undoing in this fight. I think he is going to have a strong first round. I think he is going to outstrike and probably beat the shit out of Lewis Smoka a little bit on the feet because I don't know if you watched. I know you did actually, but talking to the audience, I don't know if you guys saw Lewis Smoka's last fight against Estrada. Like, dude took an absolute beating on the feet, and obviously that was a really small promotion. There was no betting odds, but if there was betting odds, like Smolka would have been like a gigantic favor there. So the fact that he went out there and got picked apart bad, I mean, this guy's a slow starter for sure. So I expect Sumu, especially with a full gas tank. I mean, he didn't have any gas tank problems on the regional scene, but I think he will start out strong. And then as time goes by, this kid he hasn't gotten past the second round. He hasn't even been in a third round in his career. So I think Lewis Smolka with the experience, the high level experience, the level of competition, he's a tough dude, man. I think he's going to be able to take shots early on, and I think he's going to be able to make a comeback win here, man. I think he's going to get on top in the second or third round, and Sumu leaves a lot to be desired on the mat, man. He doesn't really know the basics at this point, man. That's a gigantic red flag. If Sumo was a little bit better of a grappler, he'd be a good underdog shot here, man. But really, if Smoka gets on top once, that really could all be it. He's got a big jiu-jitsu advantage, and he's got underrated ground and pound, man, too. Like, dude hits hard on the mat. And another thing about Smoka's last fight against Estrada, yeah, I know Estrada. He went out there and beat the hell out of Smoka in the first round. He's a big dude. He missed weight in that fight. Estrada came in like 3 or 4 pounds overweight. Smoka still took the fight. Smoka still subbed him in the second round. And another big thing for Louis Smoka. I mean, I don't know how much it'll matter in the cage, but it's definitely a very positive thing that he was able to change his life around and get sober. I believe he's been sober for around a year now, so that's very good. He went 3-0 outside the UFC, and now he's coming in here at bantamweight. So two flyweights making their bantamweight debut here. It's going to be an interesting one. I feel like it's Sumu all day on the feet, but it's Smolka all day on the mat, and I think just with the high level experience, he'll find a way to get it there. And like I said, I think it's going to be him catching a kick, one of those predictable kicks later in the round. So I'll say Smoka, late second round submission, rear naked choke.
One thing is, I think Smoka is definitely one of the biggest flyweights, man. I mean, he's had a rough time making 125. He's always made it, I think, but he's a big 125. So 135, I think, he might be good.
Yeah, both these guys are gigantic. I think Sumu might even be taller.
Yeah, but Smoka has some size, man. Smoka is, a muscular guy, I think, too. He's not like a bodybuilder, but he has muscle.
Yeah, I'd say for the 135-pound division, I would say Sumu probably has the higher ceiling because he's still like a 22-year-old kid. He's still filling out his body. I think when it's all said and done, he is a natural 135-pounder anyway. Smoka, I don't think so. So if this fight were to happen like 2 years from now, I'd probably have Sumu as the -200 favorite. But I think he's coming in here and taking a loss against a much more experienced guy.
It's a fun fight. It's definitely one of the best fights.
It is. It's a fun fight, and the odds on doesn't go the distance is pretty high. So this is a good fight to target on DraftKings for sure. So moving on to the next fight, man, we got another big favorite. We got Kevin Holland -430 taking on John, the White Mike Tyson Phillips +345. Man, I don't know about you, but I don't think that nickname White Mike Tyson is very accurate because I think this guy actually has overrated punching power. I think I think a lot of people think that his one chance in this fight is to catch Kevin Holland with his power, and it probably is. That probably is his best path to victory. I mean, he's lost on the ground. He's not going to go out here and wrestle Holland. And then on the feet, I mean, Holland's a lot bigger, man. I feel like I think Holland's got him beat everywhere, man. The only problem with me is I probably would have taken Holland in that parlay over Mueller, but the problem is Kevin Holland fucks around, man. Like, he really fucks around in his fights, and to do that against a guy who is going to See, the thing about John Phillips is that he doesn't really have that much punching power. He just has a lot of knockouts on the regional scene because he literally was always throwing everything into all his punches. But the problem is when that doesn't work, he's going to gas. And I think on the feet, the first round's going to be a little dangerous for Holland, but if it hits that second round, it means John Phillips threw a lot of heat and he missed a lot, and he's going to be gassed. So I like this fight to not go the distance for sure. I don't know what the odds are, probably really, really wide, but Holland's going to roll here, man. I feel like he can even land takedowns if he wanted to, but he's a talented guy, but I want to see him not fuck around in this fight.
Yeah, man, I got Kevin Holland as well. I love the guy. I'm really high on him. I actually bet him versus Thiago Santos, and he had his moments in that fight, man. Thiago Santos, definitely hit him with some big shots, and Kevin Holland has a good chin, man. If you watch a lot of his fights in the regional scene, Jeff Neal was, I think he was 2-0 on the scorecards, and then Kevin Holland ate some big shots, man. Kevin Holland finished in the third round. He dropped Mueller. That was one of the best fights, honestly, on the regional scene I've ever seen. Mueller versus Kevin Holland. That was a back and forth war. And Kevin Holland, I think, should stay at 185, man. Honestly, he's not like the biggest middleweight out there, but it's too hard for him, I think, to make 170. And he's so more technical than Phillips. I think he's a really good striker. He is really flashy. He does mess around, but I think what's going to happen is that he's going to hurt him on the feet. He's going to tap him out. I don't think he's going to go out there and take him down. In the interviews, he's saying that he wants a knockout, but then again, he has a big advantage on the ground, so he definitely could take him down, man. But I think what's going to happen is that it's going to be hard for Phillips to get inside, and Holland's going to pick him apart from the outside, drop him, and then he's going to get on the ground, tap him out with a choke. So I got Kevin Holland with the first round submission. He has a lot of wins by sub, man. His jiu-jitsu is really good. Under Travis Mueller, he's a brown belt. And you saw the sweep he hit on Thiago Santos. Yeah, it's Thiago Santos. He doesn't have the best ground game, but Kevin Holland's ground game is really good. I think he's really well-rounded. He has a super high ceiling. So I just don't think Phillips is good at all. I think he's a jobber. I think he's a first-round KO or bust. He hasn't knocked out anybody good. And I think Holland's a better striker, too. So I got Kevin Holland by domination.
One more thing. I think even at minus 305, the odds on doesn't go the distance is really, really good. I really don't see this fight going the distance because if Phillips wins, it's going to be a fluke first-round KO. If Holland wins, he's probably going to finish him because Phillips doesn't have much of a gas tank. So if it goes to the later rounds, he's going to get finished for sure. I even think he could get finished early. So honestly, it doesn't go the distance at minus 305. I feel like that should be like minus 605. Like, I really don't see this fight. And even Holland wins in the distance at minus 170. Like, that's not bad at all. Holland in the distance,
what? He's minus 170 right now?
Holland in the distance is minus 170.
I was looking at it a couple of days ago. I think it was like minus 300.
Holland wins in the distance opened at minus 145.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
I could have sworn he was like minus 300. Maybe not. I don't know.
You were probably looking at the doesn't go the distance.
Okay, because minus 170 in the distance for Holland, that's actually a really good line. Wow.
That's not bad at all.
It opened at minus 145. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, that's a great line. So props.
I would have been on that. Damn.
Yeah.
So next fight we got Pingyuan Wu versus Martin Day, and this is a good fight, man. Martin Day definitely showed on Contender Series that he has good striking, man. He's a little wild. He gets taken down. His ground game is not the best, but he can strike. He has a flyweight going up the bantamweight, and Wei up on Wei. Wei is a natural bantamweight, man, and he's on a huge winning streak, man. He lost a couple fights by sub, and then it's like a 9-fight winning streak. I definitely think he beat Damian Stasiak. There's some people out there that think Stasiak won. I don't think so. I think it's going to be a brawl on the feet. I think Wei's the better striker, but Martin Day is crafty, man. The guy can strike as well. It could be a back and forth war, but I think the advantage is if Wei gets him down on the mat. But Wei's a striker, bro. He's really aggressive, man. So I just think it could get hairy on the feet. I do think Wei has an advantage, but I think if he gets him down, it'll be more of an easier fight. But I'm gonna have to go with Wei by a 29-28 decision. What about you?
Yeah, man. So I have a play on Pingyuan Liu here. So the first parlay I got, that's Yan Zonin and Lauren Mueller at 5 units. The second one is Yan Zonin with Pingyuan Liu I got that 2.8 units at minus 140. I like Pingyuan Liu a lot here, man. I'm super high on the Chinese duo of him and Song Yadong at Team Alpha Male. I think they're really thriving off each other every single day. I love that they're both there together. And yeah, he's won 13 out of his last 14 fights. Most of those being via finish. Most of them by sub actually, but I actually like most of his wins are by sub. But I actually think his boxing might be his best tool. And I was impressed with him versus Stasiak. I bet on him versus Stasiak there. He came through for me. I'm happy that the judges gave it a unanimous decision because I was a little worried. You mentioned people thought Stasiak won that fight, but what the hell? Like he dominated Stasiak in my opinion, like pillar to post. And not only that, that's a UFC debut performance against Stasiak there too. And a lot of people think like really lowly of Stasiak, and yeah, he is not that great of a fighter, but Stasiak went in there and put on like a decent striking performance against Pedro Munoz. Like you could argue that Stasiak did better on the feet against Pedro Munoz than guys like Brett Johns and other Scoggins. Stasiak actually, he's an underrated guy and a tough out for a UFC debut. Um, so I was impressed with Lou there, man. I think he's extremely well rounded. I think he can win this fight wherever it goes. Martin Day, I actually wasn't that impressed with him on Contender Series because he was fighting a guy in Jamie Alvarez who, Jamie Alvarez, he beat Martin Day in that fight, and they didn't sign Jamie Alvarez, and I think they did that for a reason. I don't think either of those guys are UFC level, in my opinion. Martin Day, he is a decent striker. He's tall for the division for sure, but he's kind of predictable on the feet. He throws a lot of volume for sure, but I think Pingyuan Liu is going to be landing the harder, more efficient shots. I think he's going to be pushing the pace, charging Martin Day down, and I think he's going to land some good shots on him. I think he's going to mix in some takedowns, and he's the all around better fighter here. And who knows where Martin Day goes from there? I say right now I don't think he's UFC level, but and I do think he's going to lose this fight, but we'll see. He's big for the division. He's a decent striker, but we say he's this kid Martin Day, but Martin Day's actually been around for a while, and I think he's in his 30s, much older than Pingyuan. But yeah, and I believe he's he trains out there with Russell Doan and those guys. I kind of just I don't want to say he's a poor man's Russell Doan just because he goes out there and trains with them, but I see some similarities, but I don't know. I also didn't like that fight where Martin Day got knocked out by the 2-0 guy. His chin seemed a little irky there. So I got Pingyuan big here, man. So I think he finished Martin Day late. I'll say Pingyuan via third round TKO. So moving on to the next fight, man, we got. Let me get back to my order here. Pingyuan. We got the fun heavyweight fight. We got Hugh Yaozong plus 120 now, taking on Rashad Coulter minus 140. So a lot of monies came in on the 3-1 Chinese fighter Hugh Yaozong, and I think it's rightfully so, man. Rashad Coulter, what was he like minus 200? Some crazy shit. Rashad Coulter should not be that big of a favorite against anybody. Rashad Coulter opened minus 245. What the hell is that, bro? Rashad Coulter is man, like the dude is ugly in the octagon, but I'll say this. He's fun as hell to watch. This fight is going to be so fun to watch. Like it's going to be such low-level sloppy heavyweight MMA, but I think these dudes are about to come in here and like hit each other with some trucks. And I think the doing for Rashad Coulter, I think Rashad Coulter is going to get the better of Hugh in the first round, but we know the deal with Coulter, man. As soon as that second round hits, I think he's going to have the much softer gas tank, and the tough Chinaman is going to go out there and put him away on the feet. I think he knocks him out as soon as Coulter starts to slow down. This dude, Hugh, he's actually got a decent chin on him. I know he lost his last fight against Asker, but Asker's a sub guy. Coulter's no sub guy. Coulter's going to give Hugh the fight he wants, and that's going to be a war. And I got the guy with the much better gas tank to win this war. So not going to say too much about it. I like it for DraftKings a lot. I wouldn't I wouldn't want to have my money on this guy by any means, but for DraftKings at plus 7,800, give me the guy with the much better gas tank and the better chin.
Yeah, I see a lot of people betting this fight, and I think it's probably the biggest pass on the card. In my opinion, it might be one of the biggest passes in 2018. I think this is a fight that you should not bet at all. Both guys are so bad, honestly. Like, if I could like just pass from this fight and not even pick one of them, I could in a heartbeat. But I'm gonna have to go with Hugh just because I think he's a little bit better than Coulter. But I mean, I'm not confident. I mean, Coulter definitely has a better ground game. You could definitely take him down, get a first round, ground pound TKO. But no gas tank. He's so wild in the feet. He was actually looking decent, before his UFC debut, But then he just, I don't know, man, just losing the bad fighters, and then you got Hugh, who lost to one of the worst fighters of all time, Sour Asper. So I'm not gonna say much. I think it's a sloppy fight. Fun fight to watch, but yeah, just I don't see how a lot of people are betting this fight. I think it's a clear pass. So I got the underdog Hugh by a finish, but I'm not confident. So next fight, we got Ken and Song versus Alex Morono, and this is a good fight. It's definitely one of the best fights tonight. I know you could definitely agree with me on this one. How before pre-tape, I thought Ken and Song sucked. I didn't think it was that good, but then after tape, I was like, damn, this guy's striking is actually pretty good. I know he's only beaten jobbers and Bobby Nash and um, Hector Aldana, but this guy throws heat, man. I know he trains at Jackson, which is definitely now on a decline. I think Hugh trains there too, but dude, Kenan Song is the faster guy for sure. I haven't been impressed with Morono. I don't know why. Like I've kind of liked Morono too. Like I bet Morono versus Nico Price, which yeah, that was so bad. And I also bet Alex Morono versus Jordan Mean. And God, the guy just cannot stop a takedown. The guy's wild on the feet. He gasses. He's been knocked out before too. He had a close fight with Keita, but that was when Keita wasn't in his prime, in my opinion. And he still won that fight. He had a close fight with No. Yeah, he beat Berkman. He beat Muntasri, guys you should beat. But I think he's super wild in the feet. And I think if this is a brawl, which is probably going to be, I got to favor the better striker and the faster striker. And Song's only been knocked out once against Stylebender, the future champ, dude. So I just think Stylebender is more technical. I think he has better striking. I think he's the faster guy. I don't know if he's going to be able to take down Morono. Like, he's not much of a wrestler. Morono does have, pretty good jiu-jitsu. He has a good guillotine, too. But I think they're going to slug it out in the feet, and I got the faster guy, man. So I got Ken Song by a first-round knockout. What about you?
Yeah, man, I'm with you on the changing of the mind on Ken and Song. After reviewing tape, this guy's not too bad at all, and he's definitely improving a lot. I think he's come a long way. His last fight against Hector Aldana, he was able to go out there and finish him in the second round. We saw Hector this past weekend fight Staropoli, and Staropoli looked really good against Hector. Like, hands were on point, had a lot of power behind his punches, and not even he could finish Hector. But dude, Kenan Song is like he's a good size for the division too. He's an accurate pinpoint sniper. Like, actually, I like this guy a lot, and I feel bad for thinking so lowly of him beforehand. But hey, this is why we do tape study, right? So yeah, going and watching Alex Morono, man, like. This guy's been really nothing short of a disappointment. So he came in first fight in the UFC, went to a very razor split with Kyle Noke, and this is a tail end Kyle Noke, and he got the W over Noke, but actually scored that fight for Kyle Noke, and that's a tail end Kyle Noke. I made the mistake of back in the day I bet on Muntasri against Morono. Morono burned me there a little bit. I actually bet on Nico Price over Morono. That came through. And then Kaita Nakamura, I bet on Kaita against Morono. So I have a history of betting these Alex Morono fights. Josh Berkman too. I had Morono over Berkman. It was just his last fight that I didn't have a play on either way. I picked Jordan Mean. I thought he was gonna go out there and beat Morono because I don't know, man. Morono just seems very sloppy to me. I haven't been high on this guy really at all, and Kenan Song's got him beat on the feet for sure. Morono's gonna want to take this fight to the mat, but like, can he really even do that? Like, he's actually he's a good grappler. Like, he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, but his ability to take it to the mat, I just don't know if that's there. I don't know if he's really got that great of wrestling to be able to do it. So I got Kenan Song to defend any kind of takedowns Morono has to offer, and then I think he smokes him on the feet. So I'll go with Kenan Song, second round TKO. Moving on to the next one, man. We got I'll let you take this one first because you got the play. But we got Jingliang, the Leech, minus 170 taking on David Zawada, plus 150. What's gonna go down, man?
Yeah, so this is my only play of the night, man. I got 4 units on the Leech at minus 145, and I like him here, man. I will give my props to Zawada. I think, he's not a jobber by any means. I think he's, has definitely potential. He took the fight on short notice. This is, against Weli and also versus, Hot Chocolate. And he had his moments in that fight. It was a close fight. He could have won the fight, but he definitely showed some bad fight IQ, in my opinion. And he's a wild striker. I think his, he's really aggressive, and the way he leaves his head out there, I think could definitely play in the Leech's counter game. But if you can't finish Hot Chocolate, in my opinion, like I don't know, I just don't think that's that impressive, man. I mean, he lost a split, or not a split. He lost a close. Was it a split?
I think it was split.
Yeah, he lost a very close decision. It could have gone either way, but he was hurting Hot Chocolate. I think he could have got him out of there. Hot Chocolate, in my opinion, doesn't have a good chin. But yeah, anyway, so back on the Leech, man. I do think he has a good chin. I think he's really durable. He does get dropped though sometimes. I mean, I don't know if you can say he's chinny. I mean, I think he has a good chin, but he's really durable. But he does get dropped a lot of fights. That's my only worry, I feel like, on the Leech, because that's why he lost to Jake Matthews. But he recovers really fast, man. I mean, he has very good cardio. He's never been knocked out. And the Jake Matthews fight, he got hurt in that fight, and he came back strong. He won the second round. Yeah, I know. He's a dirty fighter, but I like that. He did everything to get out of that choke. And I don't agree with the 30-26. I think that was a 29-28 fight for Jake Matthews. And Jake Matthews improved, man, so much. I mean, when he fought Boyan, he looked like a can. And when he fought the Leech, man, he looked really good. He's big for the weight class. He killed Nzai. But anyway, so back on the Leech, man. I mean, he's 7-3 in the UFC. So, I mean, he's only lost to Jake Matthews, Nordine Taleb in a very close split and a long time ago, which I thought he won. And to Keita, and he was beating Keita's ass, man. He won the first 2 rounds, and Keita got him down and choked him out. Zawada has the better ground game. He definitely has the better wrestling. I don't think he's going to be able to get the Leech down. Ever since the Leech has gone to Extreme Couture, his takedown defense and grappling's been good, man. He even took down Jake Matthews. I think people forget about that, too. But I think Lee's the better striker, man. I think he's more technical. He's a very good uppercut, powerful right hand, good jab, very good leg kicks. I think his leg kicks are going to be very key in this matchup. And I just think the style of Zawada, he comes forward. He's like a bully, He's wild, man. And the way he comes forward, I think, is going to play right in the Leech's hands, man. Lee has a good counter game, man. And Lee is undefeated in China at home. I think that the crowd's going to be, screaming. And I think Lee thrives in that. Lee's a brawler, man. And if you watch this fight versus Daichi Ivy last fight, I know Ivy got lost his last fight, and you could say he's not, that good. But we fought more, technical, man. I mean, wasn't that much of a brawl, man. We won every round, and we looked really good out there, man. I think Lee has pretty good fight IQ too, and I think it's a good matchup. I think Lee is just so underrated. A lot of people just think he's so chinny and he's bad and all this. I mean, yeah, I'll admit he's been dropped, man, in a lot of fights, but he recovers, man. His cardio is how he wins his fights. It's how he beat Frank Camacho. And one thing a lot of people are saying is that, Lee hasn't beaten anybody. I mean, you could say he's beaten a lot of cans, he's the can crusher, but who is Zawada beaten? The guy hasn't beaten anybody either. And he didn't even beat Danny Hot Chocolate, who I think Lee would knock him out in the first round. So I think, they both haven't beaten anyone good. But, I mean, the fact that Lee's 7-3 in UFC, has all that experience, Zawada's taking on short notice again, I just think Lee's going to knock him out. So I got Lee with a third-round knockout. And the first round will be a little, hairy because Lee's definitely a slow starter. I mean, yeah, he knocked out Zach out in the first round. But I just think it's a good matchup for Lee, and I got Lee here, man. So what about you?
Yeah, man. So I'm actually going to come out here and probably surprise you a little bit, but I'm going to go with the underdog. I'm going to go with David Zawada here. So I actually disagree with you in the statement that Zawada hasn't beaten anybody. He beat Stefan Sekulic. If you know who that is, he's the guy that just fought Ramazan Amib. I think Stefan Sekulic, he put on a pretty decent performance there against Ramazan Amib for being like a plus 400 underdog there. I thought he put on a admirable performance, and Zawada went out there and knocked him out viciously in the second round. And going back to the Hot Chocolate fight, that was a short notice debut for Zawada, and it actually was a split decision. I was wrong, but I scored at 29-28. Danny Hot Chocolate Roberts. I thought Danny won that fight, but it was a short notice debut for the Zawada. He is 28 in his prime. He might even still be improving. I honestly am expecting a better version of him here, but I like what you said about Li Jingliang coming out a little more cautious and smart in his last fight against Daiichi Ibe. And I think if he comes out here and I think he probably is the more talented guy than Zawada. And you're right, Lee is a winner, man. He wins fights. So I think if he actually comes out here and uses his skills wisely, tries to not make this a brawl, because I think if this fight goes into a brawl, I think Lee's getting dropped a couple times. I don't think that's gonna look good on the judges' scorecards, even with it being in China. I think Zawada might be able to get the better of him on the feet, man, or even on the mat. I like Zawada a lot. I think he has a decent UFC future. So I'm not going to be confident on either side here. I think this is a razor close fight. I'm just taking the dog here, just based on I don't know. Like Lee does win fights. He's what one? He's five wins out of his last six fights, and I do think if he were to go out here and beat Zawada, I do think Zawada would be the best win on his record for sure. I would rate that win a lot higher than Abe, Otto, Camacho, Nash, Anton Zafir, No Chin, Diego Lima, David Machado. I would definitely rank that win above. So I think it is a tough fight for Li Jingliang, but being out in China, I think the last time he fought in China was that the
Zach Otto fight.
yeah, it was the Zach Otto fight, and that was arguably the best performance of his career. So that's another thing with the Leech, man. You never know what you're gonna get with the Leech. He's one of those guys you really never know what you're gonna get with him. So just me, but in my opinion, I think this is a dog or pass fight. But I do really wish you the best of luck. I do think you have your money on a good fighter. Like you said, he does win fights in the UFC, but I think Zawada's got a good future. It's a close fight, man. So I'll go with Zawada. I'll say 29-28 razor split decision. So moving on to the next fight, unless you want to add anything.
No. I think everything's good. Wait, is it my turn to call the fight, or is it you?
It's my turn.
Okay,
I'll let you
go
go
ahead.
first on this one since you had the bet.
Okay, go ahead.
So moving on to the next one, man, we got Song Yadong minus 420 taking on Vince Morales plus 335. Yeah, man, you were like the first guy to message me and tell me to look up this dude Vince Morales. He's a pretty good fighter, and I agree with you, man. I liked what I saw from Vince Morales. He is a good fighter. He's got pretty good striking. His contender series fight against Domingo Pilar. Domingo is a really good fighter, and the fact that he was able to go out there, drop him. Obviously, he got submitted in the second round, but I think he showed some skills there, man. And Song Yadong, obviously, he's like a Chinese phenom. Like honestly, like if I had to place a bet on who is most likely to be China's first UFC champion, I might have my money on Song Yadong. But the thing is, he is still only 20 years old, and there is still a possibility that he goes out there and just loses to somebody with a little bit more experience. They know they figure a way to get it done and expose a hole in his game. Who knows if this guy even has a hole in his game though, because he is a very well-rounded, athletic, like really good fighter. And I know he's only gone out there and beat the Indian dude Barat and Felipe Aranches. And Felipe Aranches, like that dude, I don't know. I think he might have even got cut from the UFC, but Aranches is like that's a good fighter, man. Song Yadong was only like I want to say like that fight was around pick'em, I'm pretty sure, and he went out there and looked like a minus 420 favorite. Like he smoked Arant, just looked really good there. So sky's the limit for this guy, but I definitely think Vince Morales is a step up, and I think Vince Morales is going to test Song Yadong like he's never been tested before. But that being said, I do think this guy is that special that he will go out there and beat Vince Morales. So I think Vince Morales wins around. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt there, but I'll say Song Yadong 29-28 unanimous decision. I think he probably gets it done with the grappling for the most part.
Yeah, man. I like Vince Morales pre-tape and after tape. I still think he has a really good chance. I think he's alive for sure. But I gotta go with Song, man. I don't feel like fading Song Yadong right now. The guy's really good. He's so fast. He's definitely more athletic, explosive, and faster than Morales. But Morales can crack. Morales is Ricky Simon's brother, not brother, cousin, by the way. And they both train together in Oregon. He has a good wrestling background too. Pretty good story. You know, I think he was like 0-12 his freshman year, and then he finished. I think he
Yeah.
won. I think he won like a senior year, which is pretty impressive. And the guy can strike. He won the first round versus Duarte. He dropped him twice. But then right when Duarte took him down, man, he tapped him out. He has 2 losses by sub. So I think so. I think Song should definitely not try to brawl. I think he should go out there and take him down because I think Song has a big advantage on the mat, man. He looked good on the ground versus Rantes, and that elbow he hit and the clinch was so nasty. I think on the feet it's just close. I think they're both good strikers. I think they both have good striking, and I think Song needs to get it to the mat. And I think what's going to happen is that they're going to brawl in the first round, be back and forth. I think they're both going to get dropped. And then the second round, I think Song's going to go to his grappling and get a submission. So I'm going to go with Song by a second round submission. But Morales is live, man. I think he's going to get for sure another fight in the UFC. I think he's going to win some fights. So next fight, we got Overeem versus, hold up real quick, Sergey Pavlovich. I'm going to keep this really short. Yeah, so this is a very close fight, in my opinion. You know, you got Reem, who's the better fighter, in my opinion, more technical, but his chin is so bad. He's definitely, you know, one of the worst chins in the UFC. He's been knocked out like 100 times. This could be his last fight. You know, who knows, man? You know, Sergey's an undefeated guy. He's only beaten Cans, in my opinion. I heard he beat Baby Fedor, but I don't think that guy's good at all, in my opinion. So yeah, Sergey's pretty good though, man. You know, he's undefeated for a reason, but this is a huge step up in Overeem. Overeem's a top 5 guy right now. He is on the decline. He's shot for sure. You're gonna disagree with what I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna go with experience. I got Overeem. I think he's gonna take him down to the mat and either get a submission or pound him out. So yeah, what about you?
Man, this is a good one. This is my third and final play of the night. I took 2 units on Sergey Pavlovich. I got a very good line. And the thing with Alistair Overeem, so combining his kickboxing and MMA career, the guy has been knocked out 15 times now. And you know, over the course of his career, usually when he gets knocked out, it's like a one-punch KO where really not that much damage is taken. Like I know the Francis Ngannou knockout that looked absolutely devastating and all that. But it was really just one punch. He kind of woke up and he got back to the gym a couple weeks later. Now this last fight against Curtis Blaydes, which is only 5 months ago, Curtis Blaydes performed surgery on this guy's face. Like literally one of the most brutal finishes I've ever seen, like in MMA history. The way he finished him on the mat there, and just a pool of blood on Alistair's face. I think that was like, I think that might have been the final nail in the coffin. Whatever he had left for a chin, it might just completely be gone now. And I honestly like. I think this is a stylistic matchup for him, man. Like you're right, Alistair is the more experienced. He is the more skilled fighter. Like he's the better striker by a lot here, man. I mean, when it comes to hands, like Sergey might have something from the hands, but the overall striking game, like Alistair with his kicks, I think he's going to be able to land some nice kicks on Sergey. But the thing is, like looking at recent history, Alistair's going out there and beating the older guys of the division like Fabricio Verdum, Mark Hunt, Arlovsky, Roy Nelson, Frank Mir. And he's going out there and losing to the younger guys like Curtis Blaydes, Ngannou, Stipe. Even back in the day, young Travis Brown was able to knock him out. Typically, Alistair loses to these up and coming heavyweights with power in their hands, and you know he's also. I mean, this wouldn't be the first time he got knocked out by a guy that he's better than. Like he's a way better striker than Ben Rothwell. He's a way better striker than Travis Brown, but fact is, Alistair likes getting hit for whatever reason. He loves leaving himself open. Like how many times did Travis Brown land that up kick on, or not, land that straight kick to the face on Overeem before Overeem finally tumbled over from it? Like he just kept walking straight into it. Like Overeem, I feel like he's one of those guys that were like going later into his career, like his IQ has, like his fight IQ has dropped off for whatever reason. Like I don't know what it is. I feel like he's not fighting as smart as he used to back in like the Strike Force days. I remember Alistair. Alistair was a scary man in those Strike Force days, and I don't know, man. I think he's just been around for way too long. I don't know how well his shot taking ability is at this point, and He does have the probably the wrestling and jiu-jitsu advantage here, but I don't know. I don't see a hit in the map, man. I mean, Alistair, I mean, really, he's taken down a couple guys before. Like, he's taken down Frank Mir, but I don't know. Sergey, Sergey has a Greco-Roman wrestling background. He's a real thick, strong dude. I think Alistair, I mean, he's no D1 wrestler. I actually think Sergey is going to be able to stuff the takedowns here. And on the feet, um, Sergey's got a good chin as well, man. Like I saw him take some hard shots against some of these dudes he fought over in Russia, and his chin held up strong. I doubt Alistair knocks him out here. I think if Alistair wins, he needs to move around and pick him apart for 15 minutes. And that being said, 15 minutes is a long time for Sergey Pavlovich to go in there and land the one perfect shot. So at plus 150, I'm willing to find out, man. I think Sergey finds his chin at one point. I'll say late into the first round, he counters Overeem with a uppercut, knocks him out clean. So moving on to the main event of the evening, man, we got Curtis Razor Blaydes minus 225 taking on Francis Ngannou plus 185. This is a rematch from back in the day, and this is an awesome main event, man. I believe last time Curtis was like it was a doctor stoppage. Francis was beating the guy up, honestly. Francis was doing really well. I actually bet Francis in that fight, man, against Curtis Blaydes. I had it was like 2 units at plus 120 or something like that. Um, but the thing is that both these guys have. It's been a while since then, and both guys' careers have taken quite a different turn. Francis was on a real war path, and people were looking at this guy to be like a future world champion, but he went out there, got completely outclassed by Stipe, and then just stared at Derek Lewis for 15 minutes. So we don't really know where this guy's confidence is at, and I don't know if we can really trust him. But the thing is, if the best version of Francis Ngannou shows up, if the same Francis Ngannou shows up that knocked out Overeem, that knocked out Andre, even the same guy that finished Curtis Blaydes, and I think people are writing off that finish just because it was a doctor stoppage. But dude, did you see Curtis Blaydes' face? Ngannou did that to him. Ngannou is still, I, I don't know, man. I just can't see how people are writing off such an athletic freak like Ngannou. Like seeing people still bet Curtis Blaydes at minus 225. That's crazy to me. And obviously the path that for him is the wrestling, and Ngannou, that wrestling defense gets better every single fight for Ngannou. So I really think Ngannou is a live dog here, man. I'm not going to pick him just because recent performances are a big deal to me, and Curtis has been on the upscale and Ngannou's been on the downscale, but it absolutely doesn't mean that Ngannou can't win this fight. He can still end any fight with the big punch, and I don't know, man. I think that takedown defense might hold up. We'll see, though. I think he actually has to throw. If he goes in there and just stands and stares at Blaydes like he stared at Lewis, he can't give Blaydes opportunities to set up the takedowns. He needs to go in there and pressure the hell out of Blaydes, and I think he can do it. I think the line should be closer, so I'm gonna go with Curtis. I'll say it's a 5 round fight this time. It's weird. Man, it's so weird that this is a 5 round fight. Curtis hasn't got 5 rounds before, has he?
I don't think so.
He hasn't, and that could be an advantage for Ngannou. Ngannou has that 5 round championship experience, so who knows, man? That might play a case. I mean, when it comes to cardio, I think you got to think Blaydes probably has the cardio advantage, but Ngannou has the actual 5 round experience, so it's a really interesting fight, and I think the line should be a little bit closer. What do you think, man?
Yeah, he has the 5 round experience, but he got dominated. He didn't even win a round. It was embarrassing, in my opinion. He looked really bad out there. And, the first fight was a good fight, man. I feel bad for Blaydes because it was stopped because of doctor stoppage. Curtis Blaydes hurt him on the feet. Ngannou hurt him. I don't think Ngannou was bad at all. Like, I know, like, he didn't look good against Derek Lewis and against Stipe, but he's still probably going to be a top 5 guy. He's definitely going to still win fights in the division. But I just got Curtis Blaydes here. I think he's going to take him down at will and just stay on top and probably get a TKO, to be honest. Yeah, not much to say, man. I mean, this is an interesting fight. You know, they're both good fighters. I think Curtis Blaydes is the future champ. I like his chin. I like his striking. He could hurt Francis on the feet here too. I mean, to be honest, I think it's close on the feet, but I don't think Francis like powers him on the feet. I mean, Curtis Blaydes is really technical. His boxing's look really good. Trains the elevations. Cardio's gonna be better than Francis. Francis so gun shy last fight, but I mean, if Francis could definitely hurt him on the feet because we saw that Mark kind of rocked him really bad. So yeah, man, we'll see what happens. But I got Curtis Blaydes. I think he's gonna get a finish. I think he's gonna take him down. His wrestling's too good. So before we go, let us know in the comments below who you guys like. Check out the Fight Game Kelton's podcast out on the MMA Kelton on YouTube. And I mean, my only play, man, is the Leech. So 4 units minus 145, minus 145, and say your plays real quick again.
Yeah, so I got 3 plays. That's probably just what I'm going to be sticking with. I have 5 units on Yaozong with Lauren Mueller. I have 2.8 units on Yaozong and Pingyuan Liu. And then I have a 2-unit 150 plus 150 underdog shot on Sergey Pavlovich.
All right, guys. So stay tuned and watch. Look at Twitter because we have 2 cards next week. We're not going to knock both of them out on the same night. So we're going to I'm not sure. I mean, as of right now, we're going to do, I think Tuesday we're going to do the Australia card. I know it's on Sunday. We're going to do it on Tuesday. And then Wednesday after the Ultimate Fighter last episode, we're going to do the tough card. As of right now, but yeah, stay tuned to Twitter. So, all right, guys. Later, guys. I hope you guys cash.
Thanks, guys.